Welcome, acolytes. As you can see, SunnyV2 made a new video, and of course, I just have to see it. This guy makes so nice, really freaking awesome videos. I just hope you will have fun looking at it with me. And what is it about? Dan Bilzerian, host officially failed. Good radiance. Do I know who that is? No. But we're gonna find out. So let's start. And by the way, sub, comment, and the thumb ups up. You know.
Nothing feels better than winning when people are patiently waiting to see you fail.
Okay. No, not really. Not really. I disagree with that one. Nothing is better than winning when people are... I basically got the freaking... After I got older, of course. The mindset of, I don't give a fuck about people who want me to fail. I just don't care. I just cut them out and never see them. That's all.
And you've lost 1 million followers in the last 12 months, seen your stock price plummet so low you had to take it off the stock exchange.
Okay, if SunnyV makes a video about this guy, so I assume he's a freaking scammer. And that's why this is funny.
And now spend the rest of your time copying Andrew.
Yeah, look at... Oh, is this... Oh no, okay, this is this... Yeah, that's probably him, I assume. And yeah, you can see him.
Your time copying Andrew Tate.
Yes, yep, scammer.
Yeah, we're going to start a website called Sigma Society.
While rambling about politics on Twitter. This is basically the definition of failure, and here's exactly how it happened. Dan Bilzerian took his company Ignite public at a price of $2.50 per share back in January 2019, a time at which his career was going perfectly. His Instagram was gaining 400,000 followers per month. He was living in a $65 million mansion, and most importantly, everybody believed that his lifestyle was real. That would be until July 2020, 18 months after Ignite started, when Dan fired Ignite's vice president, who then sued Dan Bilzerian for unfair dismissal, in the process completely exposing his phony business model.
Nice, I like that. That's always nice to hear.
For starters, the lawsuit explained that Dan Bilzerian hadn't actually paid $65 million for his mansion, but the property was rather rented for $2.4 million per year. On top of this, it was shown that Bilzerian paid...
I just realized there are actually freaking houses or villas or, you know, that actually cost 2.5 million to actually rent. Fuck. If you have that much money, like, just buy something. Have at least something for yourself. Give the money to someone that actually needs it. What the frick?
Paid for the travel.
And don't get me wrong, I don't have anything if somebody does something good for himself after having a lot of success, but this is just a waste.
Expenses of the rotating cast of models that permanently accompany Bilzerian wherever he goes, despite Dan consistently stating that the girls were there voluntarily.
Do you pay these girls to come?
No. That's okay, so
that's the big misconception,
yeah, I'm
right?
addressing that on my app.
However, the craziest part of the lawsuit outlined Dan's strange expenses, including $75,000 on a paintball field, $40,000 on a rock climbing wall, $60,000 on a Star Wars gun set, $31,000 on pool renovations, $50,000 on a bed frame, $15,000 on a ping pong table, and $88,000 on a vault, just to name a few. It was also stated that some business expenses charged to Ignite were for household items, groceries, and luxury yacht rentals, with a different former employee stating Ignite pays for everything. Models, events, yachts. Dan would just have it wrapped with the Ignite logo, and all of a sudden it was an Ignite expense, and he would send them the bill. Pools, trampolines, the employee added. His personal events that had nothing to do with the business.
A scammer. And by the way, this is the literal definition of toxic masculinity. It's not a freaking phrase I actually like to throw around, but if you want to be like those guys, just think about it for 5 minutes. Why? Just because they are rich, it doesn't... Well, I mean, they pretend they are rich. I doubt they have any money. They definitively are at zero. Yet they make probably some kind of money, a good amount, but not the amount they are actually showing you. I guarantee it.
Dan responded by stating, "Some journalist said Ignite was funding my life. Bitch, I've been going hard for 10 years and been famous for going hard for 7. I started Ignite 2 years ago, raised around 100 mil, and I own the majority of the company, suck my dick." Although his arrogant response failed to dismiss anything, especially the company's atrocious financial reports.
Damn.
Dan had spent a total of $69 million during Ignite's first year.
Nice. 69 mil.
Business, which was offset by only 9.7 million in sales. Given the previously mentioned lawsuit explained how terribly this money was spent, Ignite's stock price plummeted by almost 90%, from $2.50 to a low of 28 cents in October 2020. As the media began to report on Dan's losses, he'd respond by stating, "Uber is worth 80 billion. It has never had a profitable month since it started, and it lost over 5 billion in one quarter last year." However, Ignite's financial losses weren't even the worst part. Ignite only had an audience because of Dan's extravagant life, which as a result of the lawsuit had been exposed as rented. His lifestyle was once mysterious and intriguing, but
Yep. Most of the time, those kinds of influencer lifestyles are rented. Because no effing human being with some grease in his brain, except it's XQC, will actually show you how much money he does. That's just insane to actually think that this is real. It's just because most people, if they have money, they're just happy about it. And they do, because if I'm honest, like I know it from a lot of friends that, or a lot, I over exaggerated, a few friends that actually have money. They just don't want people to actually know that they have money. Because it's too stressful and they're really nice human beings.
it lost its edge as soon as people realized it was just another business. On top of this, the whole mega rich guy on Instagram shtick was cool in 2014, but by 2020 everybody knew it was complete baloney, which began to reflect in Dan's Instagram statistics. In May 2020, Dan almost completely stopped posting to Instagram, and by the end of the year he'd begun to lose followers.
And by the way, I got instantly banned by Instagram. I did my account and got instantly banned for I don't even know why, and I didn't even bother to redo it.
In the meantime, the media speculated that he'd soon file for bankruptcy, to which Dan clapped back by tweeting a skeleton with the caption, "Or the dumbass journalist patiently waiting for Ignite to go bankrupt." Dan was right, Ignite wasn't filing for bankruptcy, but that didn't mean that things were going well. After losing 69 million in 2019, Ignite lost a further 19.7 million in 2020, during which the media released another strange detail. Dan Bilzerian's dad was supposedly running Ignite from behind the scenes. Now this was a problem for one main reason. Paul Bilzerian was a convicted felon who was illegally prohibited from participating in publicly traded company.
Well, der Apfel fällt nicht weit vom Stamm.
He'd spent a year in jail for fraud in the 90s, leading Dan to pretend that they weren't that close.
I talked to him probably 4 or 5 times a year.
However, according to one article, Paul Bilzerian has taken a less shadowy role within the company, sending thousands of emails between himself and other top executives at Ignite. This was only speculation at the time, but if Paul was in fact running the company, he was starting to do something right. Despite losing 19.7 million in 2020, Ignite actually recorded a profit in their final quarter, leading Dan to tweet, "Ignite announces a profitable fourth quarter." I guess the press and the dumb YouTubers were wrong, shocking. The reason for
He made $1, but green is green.
which being explained in a Forbes article. For one, Ignite cut costs, slashing a promotional budget by nearly 75%. Pandemics meant fewer parties, and for Ignite that meant a chance at profit. As economic conditions improved in early 2021, the price of Dan's stock began to recover rapidly, quadrupling from 28 cents per share in October 2020 to $1.13 only 1 year later. In the process, Ignite increased its revenue from 16.9 million in 2020 to 78.8 million million in 2021, at which point Dan made the claim that he wanted to sell the company.
$2 billion would be nice, because then I get over $1 billion.
However, the chance of achieving this kind of money began to look unlikely, as the value of Dan's company began to fall off a cliff. The recovery made by Dan in 2021 was completely reversed throughout 2022, owed in part to one particular incident. The SEC is suing Ignite Brands Ltd for failing to produce documents as it attempts to pursue an accounting fraud investigation. According to the SEC case, SEC staff have uncovered information indicating that respondents may have filed public financial statements that include false or misleading representations regarding revenues earned and recognized in the company's fiscal year ending December 1st, 2020. On top of potentially falsifying their revenue, the suit also revealed that Ignite was under criminal investigation for something unrelated. As a result, the stock was headed toward a new record low. However, Dan was able to fix this problem by removing Ignite from the stock exchange altogether.
No way.
He provided no explanation for the company's removal. However, just 2 months later, media publication MJ Biz Daily somehow managed to interview Dan Bilzerian's dad, who said he is now serving as an unpaid advisor to his son's company and was speaking on behalf of Ignite because Dan was unavailable to comment. He'd state there is no reason to have a public company unless you intend to raise capital from public markets, before going on to state though Ignite was publicly traded, about 90% of the company's shares are owned by Dan and friends. Dan likely thought that as a public figure he should have a public company, although this structure provided no real benefit and instead delivered unwanted attention from governing bodies and the media. Despite this, it was reported in March 2023 that Dan was still refusing to cooperate with governing bodies, and while Ignite's privatization means its income is no longer public, it doesn't really seem as though business has improved. Dan recently bragged on Ignite's Instagram by stating, "Best-selling vapes in South America," although the very top comment was, "Bro, I love you, but I never seen anyone smoking that." Ignite's Twitter page gets about 30 likes per post. The company's official TikTok page has under 4,000 followers, while Dan Bilzerian's personal social media isn't looking so healthy either. His main Instagram page is losing 100,000 followers per month, owed in part to his complete inactivity, only uploading every once in a blue moon. When he does post, all of the most popular comments state, "So sad you have to pay for having ladies around you, haha, lol, such a sad life, and I don't know why I still follow this dude." In January 2021, Bilzerian was asked, "Dan, why are you barely active over Instagram recently?" To which he'd respond with, "Cause I just finished the 25th edit of my book, it's finally done." Yet Dan failed to return to Instagram after the book's release. However, only a couple of months.
And by the way, this is actually a quite normal tactic, just store up something, most of the times drama, about you if you drop something like a song or a book. It was one of the Mr. Beasts, a woman participated in a Mr. Beast thing where they made hide and seek or something like that, and after a year or 2 years she actually was like, yeah, Mr. Beast thing actually excluded me from the third place, and she did that exactly at the same time as her new song came out. So yeah, be the judge of that one. I mean, think about it. If a person thinks about it for 5 seconds, they know she just looked for drama, so she can sell more songs. That's
ago on the Skinny Confidential podcast, Dan gave an updated explanation for why he'd quit everything.
I just don't care. Like, I feel like social media is like a video game I beat like 8 years ago, and I'm like, everybody's playing the same game. I'm like tired of playing it. Like, I look at social media like a cancer. Like, to me, I think it's the worst thing to be happening to society. So I just like, it just cringe to perpetuate that problem.
Dan seems quite resentful over his social media career and is perhaps sick of being hated. However, I can't imagine his next venture will make that any better. After seemingly spending a bit too much time with Andrew Tate, Dan Bilzerian is working on his own alpha male course and website called Sigma Society.
The thing I'm working on right now is a site where it's basically going to like teach guys kind of like
Sigma?
What's that? Yeah.
Sigma?
Yeah.
And I'm effing saying you, don't listen to this bullshit. Listen to normal people. I also don't say listen to freaking, the people. Don't. Just hear for get tips, neutral tips that actually help you. I think Jordan Peterson is one of them. he's actually, I don't agree with him at everything, but he's a really good dude that actually wants the best for you. Like, well, the best for you, I mean, he just gives really good tips for life. Or a strong, successful male is a male-specific channel in this case that I hear quite often, and the dude gives good human being advice, like how women and men actually tick, and does stories focused on men, by the way, because, well, if you want a woman's story, get one of the other million channels. And yeah, just search for normal people that actually don't want your money. It's hard to find them, but look at it. Or give really fine advice. Inform yourself after you get any advice. But from this guy, please, just do yourself a favor. Don't. Just don't.
It's gonna like teach guys how to be guys, you know. I feel like this generation's kind of like lost that.
And while such a venture would surely find an audience, it feels like a last-ditch unoriginal money grab, which is almost...
Yep, it's true. And I think I said my piece to it, because this is a scammer. This is how a scammer looks.
Yeah, it's gonna like teach guys how to be guys, you know. I feel like this generation's kind of like lost that.
And while such a venture would surely find an audience, it feels like
a scam. Just don't. But as it is, acolytes, good night.